Hi, in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about COVID-19 and just be a realist. Now, I'm an optimist in general by nature, but if we just have optimism and things don't happen the way that we think they should, then um, we can get a little bit dejected. You can read a little bit more about that in this week's newsletter. In fact, some of what you're going to hear today, you will get in print in the newsletter in just a couple of days when we do that on the first of the month. But I want to talk about this hope that many people have in a vaccine. And right now there are 23 different companies around the world, 23 different companies around the world that are racing to get a vaccine out. 23. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong, but we must understand that money motivates this. Certainly, there's a concern for people's health. I'm not going to diminish that thought, but money is motivating this. If we want proof of that, Russia has said that they are going to approve a vaccine even before all the trials have been completed. Do we need any more evidence that this is about money? Some will say that we are ready to put these vaccines out now. Some are saying that there are already vaccines that are available. Well, if that was the case, then why are we still giving hundreds of billions of dollars to companies here in the United States, not just Congress approving, which again has party control, each party controlling each house, but also White House approval from this. So we can't just ignore the fact that money is not motivating some of this. But my big concern is for you as the church, for me, for us as people, is that if we're looking to this vaccine, this potential vaccine, to be the cure, to be the end all be all, we're sadly mistaken. First and foremost, that's because the only cure, the only savior is Jesus. It is not a drug. It is not your pastor. It is not your friends, your family, or anything else. It is Jesus. That's first and foremost. However, even from a practical perspective, the quickest vaccine ever created by man was the mumps vaccine, which took 5 years. The flu vaccine took more than that. There's a little virus that you might have heard of called HIV. We've been looking for that vaccine for nearly 40 years. We haven't found it. The cold, which, by the way, is the coronavirus, just a different strain of the coronavirus. We don't have a cure for the common cold. And so a vaccine that is being researched now for a virus that nobody had heard of even 8 months ago, and we're going to get this vaccine out within 3 or 4 months. We need to be thankful, or we need to be thoughtful about this. We need to be thankful that there are people looking at this, but we need to have thoughts about the realities of a vaccine that might be produced in such a short period of time, especially when the amount of trials are being expedited, are being done with fewer people, with than normal, are being done at not across all ages. All of those things we must take into account when we start thinking about, well, this, if we can just get this vaccine by the end of the year, then we'll be okay. Well, let's assume for just a moment that a vaccine is available by the end of 2020 and is rapidly produced and rapidly available to millions upon hundreds of millions of people around the world. Even if that is true, and even if there are no massive side effects or anything like that, and it is a successful vaccination, let's say it like that. Even if all of that is true, it will take months before immunity begins to build up in and across the United States. There will be many people who will not take the vaccination. I am not an anti-vaccine person, but I am not going to take the initial doses of this. Uh, to me, that just doesn't make sense. But let's say that it's 3 months. Let's say that it's 5 months. Let's say that it's 8 months before there is enough of a buildup of this. So even if a vaccine is readily available come January 1st, we're talking April, July, September before this would truly be something that would be available and working for the masses. So I just share all of this. Again, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to uh, take down anybody's thoughts and hopes on this. What I'm trying to do is help us to be realistic about the prospects for a vaccine, realizing that, again, Russia's already approved one. They said, I believe it was today or yesterday, that they've already approved a vaccine. Great, but they've negated all their trials. So that similar things, we've rushed through the first phases of trials in the United States as well. Just put our thinking hats on, people. I'm here. I want to protect you. This is not my area of expertise, but as I do my studies, I do know how to research. I have a doctorate for a reason, and so as I'm researching this, I just have concerns, and I want to share those with you. This last week's lesson was about love and about having compassion and sharing and suffering and all of those types of things. I'm sharing this message as a message of love for our congregation, as your shepherd, with you as the sheep, because I care. And I don't want any of us, I don't want all of us to fall prey to something that we might have hope for, but that really may not be right for any of us or all of us at a certain point. So that's all I have for this week. Tomorrow will be my preview for this coming week's lesson, and that will be based upon the latter part of Romans 2 verses 17 through 29. And then we will move into Romans 3, which is one of the great chapters of the Bible. So until tomorrow.